What's going on, everybody? We back another episode. I always got to thank the people that helped me. Shout out Cole Banker, Postal Homes, Mark Writer, Presidential Award winner. If you're looking to buy a home, definitely give Mark a call. And check out so many games now on Fans Only Sports. A lot of good games going on over there. And if you're looking to get recruited, give R&R Elite Recruits a call. And Emerson Kilgore, 401 Strength and Fitness, man. Emerson always on the podcast, but let's get into what we're really here for. We're going to bring in Coventry Oakers Gary Goodheart after a stressed out week off, and I'm sure it was stressed out, them not playing last week. Anytime any team does not get the opportunity to play, it's definitely a stressed out week for the whole staff. So we're going to bring in Coach Goodheart. We're going to get this out of here, get that out of here. Coach, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Oh, always welcome. Give me 1 second to fix something else here, man. Good game last night. Good win. We'll start off with the win. How was that game?
Just having a week off. In the past, we had a week off due to, I think, a team forfeited on us in the spring, and we played the worst game of football I've ever seen in my life. We fumbled like 6 times in that game. So being there at that time and then having a week off, for all the crap we're dealing with in this particular town, I was a little bit worried, especially with Rogers being so athletic. They're really fast. I think they're probably underrated, but they're an extremely fast team. I was a little worried about what kind of team is going to show up for us as far as Coventry goes, but we scored kind of quick, and then they actually, on their first offensive play, they scored like a 60-yard touchdown on their first play. And then I guess we need to be punched in the mouth real quick to realize that we're in a football game. And our kids rebounded pretty fast, and we had a pretty good game. It was rough. There was a lot of things going on, out of our control yet again. Not trying to get in trouble, but we need some more consistency as far as the reffing goes. Getting a little. It's been inconsistent all year so far, and I know I'm not the only one that thinks that and has been seeing it, because hell, there's 43 football programs in this state or whatever, and so every coaching staff is seeing reffing from a different perspective, even the same perspective.
I mean, I did see something that was interesting. And I seen it a couple of years ago in a Westerly Bulldog game, using a lineman and pulling him out as a tight end. You had some problems with the officiating with that as well.
Yeah, so we go into, anybody who watches our games, we go into a double wing formation, and with lack of personnel, you have to use the personnel you have. Football rule states if you have a line number, they can check in as an eligible receiver. So they told us last night we weren't allowed to do that. So we had to have our guys wear one jersey number, and then going in halftime, he had to take that jersey off and put his original jersey on because the ref he misunderstood the whole conversation, what we're trying to establish. We've been doing the same thing, and it's the first week we've had any issues with this. We're on week going into week 5 or whatever week it is. It's just we just need consistency in the state. And I understand that there's new refs and there's not a lot of refs or whatever the problem is, but the inconsistency is the major factor, I think, for this state's football right now.
And did you try to educate him? Because we do have a lot of young officials about the rule.
I certainly did. Actually, I basically got told to shut my mouth. So
yeah, and you learn to get in line around here. It's kind of get along or go along. And
that's the thing too, is like, I'm not from this state. I'm from Maine, and I don't have a synonymous name in this state. I'm a nobody, I like to say, because that's just the way it is. But I don't want to have a bad reputation or a bad name anyways, just because don't try to teach our kids to act like that or cause trouble and commotion. So hoping they're just trying to educate, as you said, and kind of backfired on me. I got told to shut my mouth. So.
Well, I noticed I seen some other, someone told me about some personal fouls, and I heard at practice you are very tough on foul language, swearing. You don't allow it.
Yeah, see, that was another issue too, is Like you can ask my coaching staff, you can ask the kids, you can ask the parents. Like we don't allow swearing in practice. Coaches, players, don't care who the hell you are, you get punished. If coach is swearing, we'll kick you out. You go home. Doesn't matter. You can go home. You come back tomorrow with a different attitude. But there, like we could hear they're swearing the f bombs and like more f bombs than I probably ever heard in one setting, and there was no action taken, and even trying to address it to try to make sure the game doesn't get out of control. Games can get out of control, be it by score or by physicality. You can have fist fights in games, and that's the thing we don't want. That makes the game look bad. So when you have kids that are swearing at each other, and that's just putting a little bit of gas on the fire, and it just takes one more little bit of gas for things to get out of control. And when things go out of control, you can't go back. So trying to address those things and stop it before it happens is kind of what we're trying to do. And yet again, I got told to shut up for trying to stop what was going on. It's one of those things, and I get like I probably don't have any respect in the state, and I accept that. You gotta earn respect, but at the same time, I'm a head coach just like everybody else. We gotta be treated all the same, kind of.
No, you're absolutely right, and there is a big disconnect between officiating and the coaching. And I was the first to side with officiating for a while, saying we had a lot of new officials. And I know when I first started jobs, but we just finished up week 4, 50% through the season. We need to have better results. You're not the only coach. Stanley Dunbar came on last night, screaming about the officials. Very respectable. Shout out to Coach Dunbar. We hear it. We hear
That's
about
me.
it all the times. Yes, definitely. Situate had a situation where they had to change jerseys in the first week of the season as well, and officials know you guys have low numbers right now. So, I mean, they should be a little more understanding about that.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Especially like not every program has 100 kids. I mean, we know the towns and the programs. They got a ton of kids. They got numbers. They got depth. I mean, right now I had 26 kids at practice today.
And
You
you
know,
are like the fifth biggest school in the state.
yeah, as far as enrollment goes, we don't have big numbers, and like I accept who we have. We play with who we have every week. But at the same time, if my second year with Stanley, we played Mount Pleasant. They showed up with like 16 kids, whooped our ass, but they still showed up with 16 kids. And it's like there's got to be some sort of connect there to realize like, hey, you got to give them a little bit of real estate here because they need to put a lineman at tight end. Well, so be it. Like it's got 16 kids. What the heck else are they gonna do? It's just one of those things. There's just got to be some more. There's gonna be some more communication. There's gonna be a little bit better communication all the way around. I guess it was a little bit. I mean, we won last night, and I'm happy for the kids. I'm proud of the kids for their effort. And there's just some of the things that go on right now in the state as far as like football goes. It's a little crazy to me.
I got to ask you this question only because you guys did sit out last week. Now, you heard the narrative is a lot of teams are ducking their opponents. I'm not saying you were ducking. Was your team ready to go last week?
We were prepared to go. We start practice on Saturday. It doesn't matter if we win or we lose. We practice Saturday. So we practice every damn Saturday. We start our game planning. We were ready to go. I was dressed and ready to go. I got the phone call at 1:41, and then again at 2:40, and next thing I know, the game's canceled. Things out of our control. Uh, the week before that, we had 15 kids out with close contact. We were without 5 starters against Mount Pleasant, and we still played. And we'll play whoever the heck's in front of us. And there's just one of those things out of our control yet again. My kids were devastated. Coaching staff's devastated. You put a lot of time in going from Saturday all the way till Thursday walkthrough, and then getting told Friday afternoon you can't play in a football game, regardless of who the hell the opponent is. And yeah, I know everybody in the state realizes how good St. Ray's is. Doesn't matter how good they are, we still want to play them because
Well,
that's just it gets you to realize what you need to work on, what you are compared to the best team. St. Ray's is the best team in Division II. Hell, they might be the best team in the whole state. They could probably beat Henrikin and maybe Portsmouth and probably LaSalle right now. I don't know. I don't know how good they actually are against those opponents, but I know how good they are in D2, and playing them gets you to know where your caliber is, what kind of team you are, how good you are, regardless of who we had or who we didn't have, who's close contact, if they could have done a better job at that time, whatever it was. It wasn't on us. We weren't ducking them. We got given the short end of the stick too.
Well, you can understand the narrative because you see a lot of these teams that are backing out on a Monday and then calling you 10 minutes later saying we can have a JV game in a lower division. And it's like the lower divisions are basically, respectfully, they are JV teams. So how you gonna? So I just wanted to get that out the way because I know you guys were ready, and I know one of your coach's wife went in the other day on Facebook saying we were ready. It was a heartbreaker for our teams, and then to see Mount Pleasant playing that same week, it was really a heartbreaker.
Yeah, the whole thing, it was a debacle. Yet again, we talk to our kids about worrying about the things that are in your control. You can control your effort, you can control your time in practice, you can control, your enthusiasm, but you can't control the things on the field, and you can't control any of the things that are just that are going to be out of your control. And that was one of those things that we got told, just before 3 o'clock, hey, that we're canceling the game. So that was one of those things. My kids are ready. We were going to be at the school at 3 o'clock. We got to get taped up. We do our walkthrough. We do our regular routine, a little talk, and then we were going to be ready to go.
Coach
But
Good, Coach Goodheart, your quarterback man stepped up, and I think he's playing very well. Gavin Nurmi, is that his name? Am I saying that
yeah,
correctly? But
Gavin Nurman.
he's inside the top 10 right now as the state's top quarterbacks. I think he's sitting at number 7 with 274 yards with a QB rating of 114.
Yeah, we try to minimize, a lot of risk for him because he's only a junior, his first year. When you got a kid like Will Turner who starts for 4 years, I mean, Will was one hell of a kid, not only, just as a football player, but as a human being. Will Turner carried like almost a 4.9 GPA. He's just literally one of those kids. He's going to do something great for this world, not just, football wise. He's just one of those people, one of those humans that something is going to happen great because of him, because that's just the type of person he is. So when you have to fill those shoes of, replacing, a really good football player, a really smart kid, a really, really good human being, it's big, big shoes to fill. So Gavin kind of has that. I know he has that weighing on his shoulders, no matter who you are. When you were replacing somebody like that, that's all you think about. So, getting him to understand that managing the game is more important, not trying to be the one trying to win the game. So, he's really starting to learn that now. And last night, he made a lot of mistakes. He had a really good game, I guess, statistically, but he also had turnovers and mistakes too, and a lot of things that we got to work on and improve on. But Gavin is he's going to be, when he's a senior, he's probably going to be one of those kids everybody will be talking about.
And salute to Will Turner. When I met you on July 10th at the Yacht Olympics, I think I put a clip that you said that he's probably going to be a doctor, a lawyer, or something great. Will Turner is a remarkable kid, and if anyone out there never had a chance to meet Will Turner, he's such a respectable kid. When we were trying to do the off-season team, when they weren't allowing us to play football, he was part of the program, and I was just so amazed with the maturity level of that young man. So shout out to him.
Yeah, even more than that, a shout out to his parents. He's got really good parents. They're incredible. They're just incredible people. They do all the right things. They really have. They got like 4 kids, and all their kids are doing special stuff. Hell, their youngest is going to be a pro baseball player probably someday. So
Now he opted out this year of football, right?
yeah, I mean he's got some really, really big offers from big schools in Division I baseball. So I mean, like, all the biggest schools in the country are reaching out to him to play baseball for him. So
So you can't even be mad at that.
no, heck no. I mean, when you're getting recruited, I mean, he was a sophomore pitching 93, 94 miles an hour, and he's only a sophomore. He's a junior now. So when baseball season comes, he might be throwing 95, 96. Senior year hitting 97, 98. Why the heck? What kind of risk is that? You granted, if you're thinking about injury and stuff like that, it's probably going to happen. But for him, his meal ticket is baseball. Like, why not, focus on your ticket? That's your ride. Go go enjoy it, because they're gonna wine and dine you, and you're gonna be able to see parts of the country maybe you wouldn't be able to see other reasons why. And then eventually maybe you get drafted, and you can make it so your mom and dad don't have to work no more. Like, no, go do that, dude.
And salute to his parents because it takes a lot not only to put one kid through high school, get them ready, keep them out of trouble, keep them walking that straight line, Coventry, yes, it is a suburban community, but it's not your peaches and cream pie community. There's a lot of issues in Coventry. So salute to his parents for not one kid, but two kids, getting them ready for college. And salute to all the parents out there and all the wives too, because it takes a lot for the wives and the parents for you guys to go out there and put on a good product.
I believe no, they got 4 kids they put through college.
4 kids. Salute to that. Salute to them.
Pretty incredible. But yeah,
salute to them. Another kid and I knew last season he was going to be good. Jaden Cannavale. He's a senior this year. Already he's inside the top 3 of my rankings for top running backs. Not only me, Max Preps has him. And I bring this up because I notice you guys are a big contributor to Max Preps. You're one of the teams that at least put stats up. And it's so important because all you're doing by not putting stats up is hurting these kids' opportunities. They don't make the top New England list. They don't make the top 100 high school player list, so salute to you for that. But let's talk about Jaden a little bit.
Jaden, he's top 20 in his class. Coventry's got like 1,700 kids, so he's the top 20 of, I think he's like 16 or something like that of 400 plus kids in his class. Not only is he top 20, but he's trying to get into the Army Academy there, West Point, and he wants to be an officer, and he has plans to do great things over there. He's a weight room warrior. I think he's one of those kids. He started out trying to be a wide receiver, and after a couple of days, moved into running back. Like, bud, you're not going to help us right now, but in the future, you'll help us. And in the spring was that time. That's where he shined. He had his opportunity to realize that's when he's going to help us. And now as a senior, all that hard work, all that speed training we've done, all that weightlifting has really paid off, because he's 175 pounds or so, but holy heck, he's a bull. He's strong. Like last night, if you watch the film, there's plays where he's carrying 3-4 guys down the field, and he went from not being able to catch a football to now, he can catch a football and he can do some things with it. So he's one hell of a kid himself. He's got really good parents too. There's Coventry's one of those things. You got kids with no parents. You got kids with one parent. You got kids with grandparents. You got kids with both parents. So he's in one of those fortunate situations where you got both his parents in a really good household, and he's just one of those kids. You wish you had 10 and 20 of those guys because of the hard work he does. And when you got kids that are carrying 4.5 plus GPAs all over the board, it makes things a little bit easier to coach, because the things you can install, the just their ability to remember, it helps out so much almost in every facet.
Well, it really does. And you mentioned the GPA and scoring high across the state. I don't know how bad your team was affected, but a lot of kids got hit with the academic not eligible, because of failing out last season. Some teams lost as many as 11 players. So salute to the kids that are getting it done in the classroom, because I don't care how good you can ball. If you're sporting a 1.8 or a 2.0, like, you are not going to college.
Yeah, and that's one of those things we try to preach too, is like, football is not just like, I love football. I think everybody who's into football, coaching or playing, you have to have some sort of a love or a passion for it. But at the end of the day, 70% of the households in America are single family, and typically that's a single mom. So for us as coaches, we are the male role model in these kids' lives. So if we're not trying to emphasize school, family first, school second, then football, and then all your other priorities after that, then we're not doing our job, because if these kids want to go to college, we got to preach it. Like, if you don't have good grades, you can't go. They don't want you. College is competitive. Kid like Will Turner applied to every single Ivy League school there was.
Wait a minute.
He didn't get into not one of them. He didn't get accepted to not one Ivy League school, having an incredible GPA, extracurriculars, everything he does for the community, all his community service, like the things behind the scenes, the all the little things that they want to see. He didn't even get accepted to not one Ivy League school. Try to tell the kids if Will Turner is not getting accepted to Ivy League schools with the incredible resume he has, and you're doing this little, how do you anticipate getting accepted to college? It's competitive. It's just like anything else.
And that's no like when I, that ain't no slap in the face to Ivy League schools. That just shows you how hard it is.
Absolutely. It's competitive. It is absolutely competitive.
1% makes it to football. And I had Nate Turner on the other day, a couple of weeks ago. He played on the Buffalo Bills Super Bowl team. He played on Carolina Panthers team, and he said, "Listen," he said, "for anyone to say I was a bust or anyone else is a bust, I'm 1%. I'm part of that 1% club."
You make it
You
to the
know,
pro, that's a big deal.
yes, definitely. You make it to the NFL, a big deal. Emerson Kilgore says success in football is playing any level after high school. Do you agree with that?
100%. Like I'm a little guy, you've seen me. I'm 5'6.5", 5'7", 165 pounds. And I mean, I was fortunate enough and where I'm from to be able to play a little bit of college football myself. So I take that like that's a compliment, I guess. I got to play for a couple minutes or whatever. So that was it's true. Like if you get an opportunity to play any post secondary sport, you get to go on hell lacrosse, track, soccer, hockey, wrestling, whatever it is, football, basketball. Like you're lucky. I mean, you put the work in, whatever it is. You're a good enough athlete. Then you're part of that percentage. But
Nick,
if you're so good, you get to make it to Division 1. I was just a Division 3 athlete. If you're good enough to make Division 1, that's a whole nother bag of worms. And then if you get to go pro, holy crap, you're in the upper echelon.
yeah, I mean, just making it to Division 1, and a lot of Rhode Island kids. I mean, as much as they say I want to go Division 1, as good as you think you are in this little state, it's a whole different monster. I bring Emerson up again. Went to Syracuse when there was only 3 kids on Division 1 NCAA rosters, and I said, "So when you got there, was you able to pull out the lawn chair and relax?" He said, "Oh no, it got even hotter at that point." So not every, nothing wrong with Division 3, Division 2. You're there to get the education.
That's exactly what it was. Like I realized real quick. Like, look, I was the third smallest of 120 guys on a college football roster. Like they recruited 25 guys from South Florida to come out and play Division 3 football. It's like these guys are running 4.40s and guys my size dunking. Like I couldn't barely touch net, so I knew real quick. Like, all right, I'm gonna try to get this degree.
My guy Nick Kopp, very good football player. His father's one of your assistants. I think he made your all division list last year. I think he even might have made all state. Um, I'm not sure. But let's talk about Nick Kopp a little bit. Great kid. Did you move him to lineman this season?
Well, first thing, actually, Nick Hart made first team All State linebacker in the spring, and then they made him a preseason All State linebacker. I know it's Eric Rube, but so he got put on the list. Yeah, he's had a good season, whatever so far. It was actually his idea. He was one of our running backs, and he walked up to me one day and said, "Coach, I think for the greater good of the team." In lack of depth, he said, I think I'll go on the line if you want me to, if you think that'll help. And I said, Nick, if you're willing to do that for the team, that'll help the team tremendously. So Nick did the most selfless act I've ever had a high school kid do in my 10 years of coaching, and went from being, a guy getting his name in the paper to being the guy getting the guys in the paper.
I mean, and how surprised were you? Because when you just told me that, I was surprised. Because what I know of Nick, he loves carrying the ball. He loves being, in the backfield. So salute to him. But how surprised was you? You just said it was a selfless act. You know what I mean? So salute to him. It shows his level of maturity. What does that say about the man?
Two things in my eyes. One, leadership. You got a kid who got a taste of victory and wants to, continue to win. And knowing that you got his best friend's Jaden Carnival So his best friend's in the backfield. So who better to block for than your best friend? So Nick stepped up to do that, and two, Nick's just a competitor. He's a great kid. He wants to win. So above all else, he knew that's what the team needed, and he stepped up. It was a surprise at first, but just knowing how he is, I know Nick more than just on the field. Like his dad's one of our coaches, so his dad, is a friend, and I get to see Nick in a different eye than just coaching. So I know what kind of kid he is, and he wants to win, and he
Yes.
knows that that's one of the things that it's going to take. So, but him being one of the stronger kids around, I would like to see other kids in the weight room and see them with Nick Carpinello, because Nick, he's a 4-year starter. He's much like Will Turner. Will Turner's a 4-year starter. Nick Carpinello is a 4-year varsity starter. So Nick is a weight room warrior. People probably don't look at him and know this, but he works out 2 and 3 times a day.
Does he?
He's eating, sleeping, thinking about football, working out, and making it to the next level.
I
Um,
mean, what a great example he is. He's a great leader. I met Nick, again when I did the private league competition. His father, nice coach. And um, when I talk about his dad, me and him had a little disagreement a few weeks ago. And but it just shows how loyal his father is to the Coventry Oakers. So salute to him. Another good coach you have is Andy Gervasini. Great line coach. You know, um, Even me and Andy had a few issues, but I still respect him as a coach. He was up here in Wesley for a little while, so you put together a decent staff.
yeah, I know. I didn't know anything about Coach Gervasini. Got word that he was interested in coaching and brought him on staff, and this season made him the defensive coordinator, and I think it was a good move. He's doing a good job with the defense. Um, he's a young guy. I'm relatively young too. I'm gonna be 35 here kind of soon, but he's a bit younger than me, and he's got a lot of energy and he's got a lot of knowledge. I respect him, and we I think you're right. We put together a pretty good staff. We're still a little bit light on numbers. As far as eyes on the field. So, still trying to get a couple more guys out here. But right now we got 5, and we got the five we need right now. Um, all of our coaches, they do a great job. I try not to take any credit for anything. I think they deserve it. We got good coaches. We got good assistant coaches. We got a good volunteer coach, and everybody pulls their weight. Everybody wants to win. At the end of the day, everybody wants to win. Everybody has the same goal, and I'm very thankful for the guys we have on staff. Because we go through a lot. Coventry's a tough place to coach. Uh, it really is, and the guys that no matter what adversity we go through each week, they still show up, and they're still positive, and they still understand, and we still got a job to do. So I'm just very thankful for those guys, to be honest.
And everyone knows that you're in a tough situation with what you have going on up there. It is a good school, it is a good town, and you just need more wins. What does Coventry? What do you see going forward for Coventry right now? What is your next couple of weeks planned out? How do you feel? We're already 50% halfway into the season.
My first 2 years in Coventry, I coached under Stanley Dunbar, and Stan can vouch. Me and Stan are still friends. We still talk. Pretty much every single week. I love Stan, and our first 2 years we lost to Lincoln pretty bad, both years back to back. So we got Lincoln on Friday night. We want to love to beat those guys. That'd be really cool. That's really up on the priority list. Obviously, we want to make the playoffs, but it's hard to project. It's a week. This game is week by week, and it doesn't really matter because any team can win any given week. It doesn't matter. Just the stars align perfectly. Everything's just supposed to go the way it's supposed to go, and so can't really project forward because after this we got a tough Barrington team coming right up, and we really like to beat those guys too as well. But we got to focus on Lincoln right now because that's what we got on Friday night.
Please beat Barrington. Please beat Barrington. I don't. I think the side of the Division Two you're on. I think you guys are pretty much the better team. Mount Pleasant, Coach Addison doing a great job, as you seen a couple of weeks ago. But you were outmanned, you were outnumbered. But I give credit to coaches like you. North Smithfield, Coach Piver, he knows he had to get on that bus with 20 kids because of whatever situation. He didn't cop out and say, oh, no, we can't play because we don't have enough kids. He got on that bus and he went to play Pilgrim knowing he was outmatched, outmanned, and it was going to be a bad night. And salute to you guys for at least saying, you know what, we don't have the dogs we want, but we're still going to the fight.
Yeah, we all signed up to coach this game. It is what it is. You can't go into every game assuming you're going to win. You definitely can't assume you're going to lose, but you got to go in to play. It doesn't matter who it is you're playing against. You got to show up, because I don't want to talk bad about our society right now, but I think there's a lot of quit in our society, and I don't like that, because it teaches our kids to quit. And I don't know how old you are, Mike, but I know how old I am, and I know that in 40, 50 years, these kids are going to be the ones that are going to be taking care of us. And if we're teaching them to quit right now, what the heck's going to be happening then?
I'm afraid.
I don't want to be old and worrying about what kind of life I'm going to have to live, or if I'm going to be able to retire, or what the retirement home's going to hold for me there. There's just going to be too much quitting, and we can't teach these kids to quit. You got to fight no matter what. Sometimes you're going to get punched in the mouth, and it's how you respond. So you got to you got to keep fighting. That's all I got to say. We just got to keep fighting.
You got some Rocky I think Rocky said something like that. It's how hard you keep coming back and keep fighting and keep fighting. You're absolutely right. Before I let you go, I just need to make a couple quick announcements, man. This show and last night's show was dedicated to the life and memory of Leroy Matitol. Played at Pilgrim. Pilgrim had a nice moment of silence last night. They actually put the decals on his helmet. So he's a friend of mine. In this picture, you see him with 5-time champ Vinny Pazienza and also Mickey Ward. I'm not sure who the guy is with no hair on the right, but salute to him. Thank you to Mark Wright for always helping us out. And if you want to put a logo up here or sponsor any episode or even this episode, definitely give me a shout, an R&R recruits. And if you need your games on Fans Only Sports, reach out to Fans Only Sports. Coach Goodheart, any last words going forward until we talk next week?
I just want to say thank you again. Thanks for what you're doing for Rhode Island football. I'm from Maine, so it's a little bit different perspective. It's tough because the state's so small, but they don't really cover football the way that they should. Maine, I know it's a little bit bigger or whatever, but there's so much coverage. Everybody's just so excited about football. I think all the coaches, I think I can speak for all of us and just say I appreciate you trying to do what you can for the state's football.
I try. It's tough, and going against these machines, it's tough, like I don't have many resources, and that's why I'm always telling people, if you want to sponsor something or make donations, I don't want to just have a regular live stream. You see the artwork that I have up here, I want it to be a good production, and I care about the kids in this state. So thank you very much, Coach Goodheart, and we'll talk to you next week, hopefully.
Sounds great.
Thanks. All right. Anytime, Coach Goodheart, man. Coventry Okies, man. So thank you. We'll talk soon, Coach.
Sounds good.
Bye. Coach Goodheart joined us. Thank you, Coach Goodheart, for joining us. Later on today, we'll talk to Wes Pennington after his West Warwick St. Rays game. And if you want to help sponsor an episode, you can put your logo right here. We really, really appreciate it. So thank you to everybody, that helps me out, because it's all about promoting these kids. All right, we out of here. We'll be back a little bit later after the St. Rays game.
You nervous with butterflies in your stomach, don't try to intimidate me, you couldn't scare me with lip. I'm spontaneous, smart, dangerous, fancy and quick. My trainer told me to work, he ain't prepared me to quit. I'm the only captain who's sailing this championship.